Hello friends, the Pacific Ocean is much bigger than we can imagine. If someone were to drill a hole straight through the earth from the coast of Chile, they would still end up in the Pacific Ocean on the other side. Out of the 5 oceans in the world, the Pacific is the largest, covering 165 million square kilometers, more than the total land area of the entire Earth, which is about 148 million square kilometers. Most of its islands are so tiny that they appear as dots on the map, and many of them have never even been stepped on by humans. If someone gets lost in the Pacific, the chance of finding them is nearly zero. But today, you'll learn the real story of a man who got lost in the Pacific Ocean, and not for 10 or 15 days, but for a record-breaking 438 days. His name was Salvador Alvarenga, a fisherman who survived alone in the ocean longer than anyone ever has, setting a world record no one would want to break. It started on November 17, 2012, when a 36-year-old fisherman from Costa Azul, Mexico, went fishing with a colleague. Their plan was to stay at sea for only 30 hours, so they carried very little food and supplies on their 7-meter-long boat. But after casting their nets 120 kilometers from shore, a sudden storm hit. They left the fishing gear behind and rushed back, but just 20 kilometers from shore, their boat's engine failed. They had no sail and no paddles. Though they had a radio and sent their location to Espoz, the radio's battery died before help could arrive. Strong winds pushed them deep into the ocean, away from the coast. Despite a search party, the 2 men were already too far gone. After just 5 days, the storm had blown them 450 kilometers away. All they could see in every direction was endless ocean. Their food and water ran out quickly, so they started catching birds that landed on their boat and ate them raw. They also caught fish and turtles, drank rainwater they collected in bottles, sometimes even drank turtle blood when it didn't rain. The salty ocean water could kill them, so they avoided it. Time passed slowly, and the mental torture of being lost at sea grew unbearable. Eventually, his partner couldn't take it anymore and committed suicide after a few months. Now was completely alone. He had traveled thousands of kilometers across the ocean with no contact and no hope. One day, after more than 6 months at sea, saw a cargo ship, the first ship he had seen in all that time. He waved and signaled desperately, but the boat was too small to be noticed, and the ship sailed away. Imagine the pain of seeing hope so close and losing it again. 11 months later, had drifted by. 0 kilometers, his clothes torn, protecting himself from the sun with whatever scraps he had left. Finally, in January 2014, he noticed coconuts floating in the water. He realized land must be nearby. Soon he saw an island and jumped into the water, swimming to shore. It was the first time in 14 months he had stepped on land. On the island, he saw a small house and met a local person, his first human contact in 438 days. The island was Eben Atoll, part of the Marshall Islands, around 10,000 kilometers from where he had started. If he had missed that island, the next land would have been 5,000 kilometers away in the Philippines. Luckily, he was rescued and flown back home, but trouble followed him there too, though he published a book titled 438 Days. He was later accused of murdering his fishing partner, who had actually died by suicide.